So let me navigate to the application. Just a Okay, so guys, the screen which you see right now is our dashboard actually. The one which we are talking about, different action, different things to show you more in details. If I could, right now I don't have any notification, but whenever a part will cover this out actually. How we get it, how different things which happens. Even I can bookmark this. This is also a very favorites and recent item that I can know. So which we were talking about recently. And now what our job is, first task which or the first configuration which we are starting today is creating a user actually. Understand a point that creating a user is something which is more of a security console team. But reason, let me open the slide in a more broad way. Security console is something like we security team, or we'll calculate as a system administrator team. But why there's a need for a SCM person also to understand it, right? Reason, we have procurement agents, if you know, we have suppliers, correct? I need to know that how the suppliers has to set up, right? We can also do that thing. All is about the if we have the administrator role for the application, we can set it. But how this agents and how the supplier gets set up, I have converted the data. I've already bought the supplier information from there. But this supplier, when he wants to log in, he should have his user credentials ready, right? So somehow the other system administrator team is not present, but as a person we also had to know that how this job is done, right? So our main task or main thing which we'll study today is creating a new user. Reason, understanding this is more important because it helps you to how, where is the area where all the roles, administrative right, privileges are being stored. Okay, so let's quickly go there. I'll tell you the steps. So when you log in, this is the dashboard which you see screen. I'll just refresh it and start from scratch. Okay, so this is the dashboard which you see, right? Now to create a user, go to tools, click on this tools actually. And the set of option which you will see here is set preferences, developer connect, approvals, reports and analytics, schedule process, security console. Our main administrator who is there and whose work is done is this tab, security console tab. This is the main. Whenever you log in, I'll reiterate the step. Whenever you log in, go to tools, click on tools, come to the security console area. Okay. If I click here, this is where area where I can see what roles users have been there, what is the administrative console actually there. Remember, this screen is only seen when you have administrative right. Right now I put an administrative right for this SCM user, so he can see this, right? As a functional, this is really important to understand, and as well as technical also, it is really important to understand is where my user details are stored, where I can see, okay, this person is there, is he available in the system or not. Although this generally what companies do is if they have multiple teams, they have one supreme leader, administrator role. Okay, you is the person, because we do require these things. Sometimes a password gets reset, I will not ask administrative team, okay, please provide me. That can also happen. That is something which do people that okay, depends upon the company how they are implementing a project. They want to keep this as a separate team, or they want a different or completely a single person who will be handling this. But reason for showing the screen is this is the place. If you would have seen the same thing in EBS, we call it as role administrator, right? This is a where I assign the role, I check for the roles. Different types of roles are there, procurement roles are there. So knowing that name as a person is really important. Okay, because uh, if you get the names of the roles, you know, okay, this right was there with me or not. Then I have to add the administrator team, please provide me, because he will not know. If you ask him, please provide me procurement role, but you need to know the name, right? You need to understand, okay, this role is missing, that's why I'm not able to do that task. Okay, so main tabs or main things which are important for us in this screen is roles and users. Okay, let me first go on user, then we'll create a role. Okay, if you see here, this is user. You can see the username, you can type anything. I'm not sure if this will be available. Yeah, this is there. So I search with Casey, a simple name actually, and search what are the different accounts available in the system. So if you see, there are n number of people with Casey name, and differently what is their username, what is their email ID, and if you see, is their action like status is active, logged, right? Is there in a the account is active or not? This is the details, right? Now as an administrator, I'm currently having the administrator, right? So I can see an entire screen. Okay, these are the people who are there in the system with Casey name. Okay, I have a right to, if I'm an administrator, I click on this. Okay, if I can scroll it down, I can show you all the information. So this person, if you see by names of the roles, right? More of a payable person, right? This one who is assigned. You can see here as this is the screen which I'm showing you from an administrator point of view. Okay, this is what an administrator can do, and administrator rights are there. So if you can see here, if I can just scroll down, these are the roles assigned. By understanding the name, I can see, okay, this guy I think is a payables manager, or is like not a payable manager, I'll say more of a accounts payable team actually, because all the roles which I see is there. A user, I think I'll once again reiterate, a user, you can put SCM roles also to him, you can put finance role, you can even put 3 roles combinedly, all the roles for SCM, HCM also, and procurement also. That is completely dependent. It all depends upon the organization. But there's a convention which we generally follow, that we follow line by line, that this person XYZ I've dedicated to SCM team. This is a person I've dedicated to HCM team. Involving multiple people, what happens is, as a user, I can go there, change something, I'll not do. Then the other team will get impacted. But we generally go with this way, that one person, one team dedicated actually. More things, if you see, if I can just scroll it down, you can see here other roles also are account. So this more of it, if by name, what I see is he has procurement roles also assigned, and correspondingly it has general accounting manager roles also assigned, which is there, right? So more of finance person also, and a procurement person also. Apart from this, if you just see the screen, I can see all the associated work information also with respect to this person. So if you can see here, that what is this worker name, what is this person, this is nothing but our employee ID, which we call it as. Who is this manager, what is his job, what is its particular designation. So business unit is nothing but where this particular function works. So just giving an example, XYZ company has multiple units where they go on the work, and one of the unit is their base unit, and XYZ is and correspondingly they have multiple business units. So which business unit he is attached with. So if you can see here also, the department more oftenly it's the finance US person which is there. And if you can scroll up, you can see here the password expiration date, that it will expire around 2033, and currently this is active. Because I'm an administrator, I also have a right to edit this person delete. I'll show you that also. So if I want to see, okay, this is the one things I can see, right? If I see, okay, this as an administrator, I know this person has resigned and he'll be leaving the company tomorrow, and he has given me all the details, and he's been like giving Tata bye bye, see you scenario. I can log this account so that no other person with same username creates this account. This is completely a administrative thing which is getting managed. But reason for knowing this is, we'll definitely ask most of it, when you face a scenario, you'll have some administrative team. But as a person also, we need to know, okay, what this administrator guys do, what control he has, what I don't have as a person, right? So what these guys have, they maintain our user credential with them. They know where our information is stored, they know what to give a role, what is auto provision. If I can show you, uh, I have a right to add role for this person also, right? I have a right to auto provision roles also. Add auto provision roles, what is the difference actually is, some of the roles are by default actually. Reason being, what we mean by default is, sometimes what happens is that I have to give this person, if I'm giving procurement role, I have to give him procurement category code also, that okay, you have that right to change the purchasing categories also. Similarly, if this is a finance person, I have to give him multiple roles. So why not make a stack of roles? I have it, okay, this is a person, he's a director level, give this much role. It makes the job of this person also easier, right? Similarly, remove all roles. Actually, if you see, it is remove all roles, but actually I need to click on this which role I want to remove. I can select a multiple selection. No, I want, if I suppose I don't want this role to be there, I'll leave this. I want only this 3 roles to be deleted, so I have that provision with me. This is removing the roles also, right? So I'll show you how to add role also here, but I think I'm clear till this point. I'll still give a couple of minutes more to have any queries, any doubts, any concern with this screen.
Yeah, I have one question. Like,
Sure.
can we group the roles? Like, I want to give a buyer role or else anything, so that
Mhm.
whatever the generally we give the purchasing responsibility in
Correct.
EBS, so that will be good enough, and I can do the buyer setup. But
Correct.
the similarly, if I want to say like add certain group of roles that will be combined as a responsibility, that's how it seems to be.
Correct.
So how I can group like a buyer role? I want to have a certain functionality for a buyer role,
Okay.
and I just want to say assign this user a buyer role kind of thing.
Okay.
That way it will be easy to manage.
Correct, correct. Actually, what Oracle has done is that is definitely possible. But what Oracle has done is they have a hierarchy of roles also maintained. So if I can show you that,
Yeah.
let's go by procurement role. So here is a list of roles which you see, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you see here, this is the custom rule which is this guys would have developed. Copy,
Yes. Yeah.
correct?
Copy. Yeah.
So you have a right to develop your own rules. But what Oracle's to make the things much simpler, administrator, procurement application administrator has all the roles with respect to procurement buyer rules which you want. It have entire rules. Giving this right will give you entire information which you want, right? If there's a contract administrator, you're getting my point, right? Already Oracle has by default maintained its own rule actually. But reason we want to create a custom role also is because suppose if I am a person who wants finance, some part of finance role, some part of SCM role, in that case I can create this type of custom role there and have that grouping which you're asking actually. But just a point which I wanted to mention, Oracle 2 by default allows that. You're getting my point? Or
Yes, I understand.
Mhm.
But generally, like I do for a uh, buyer, I don't want to give them a setup or other functionality. They just need to enter a purchase order rather than
Correct.
receiving or else any other functionality.
Mhm.
Uh, and the moment I give a administrator role, it will like form functions, right? We generally exclude a lot
Correct.
of
Correct.
form functions.
Correct.
So what are the options we have to oh, come up with a certain role, and I can name that one as a buyer role or something? And
Sure.
is it like a granular level? I can say, okay, this is the form function I can select within this
Mhm.
role or something like that.
Uh, Create your custom role for that. That is the best thing. If you see here,
Ah,
I went to
okay,
roles, click on
okay,
create role. What
okay,
functionalities you want, just will add in that. You can see here. If you can see, give your role
okay.
name, role code, function, security policies. What are different? This will also see moving forward. But that is, I think, for this scenario, best thing is to create your custom role. That's it.
Oh, okay. So this is okay. So we just need to create a custom role, and
Assign
based on
that
our
role.
organization needs, we need to. Okay, got it.
Right. Perfect. Yeah, that is the thing. But
Okay.
what I was like, what I wanted to mention is that Oracle 2 provides grouping of role. Like the administrator one, which you show, was like the main hierarchy. Because if you see what we generally do, give administrator role to this people. And that also Oracle has done from our part. But suppose if you want fixed amount of role, like 2, 3 only to be there, this functionality is to be available. In that case, custom role is the best thing actually. That will
Oh,
avoid complexity and be much easier actually.
okay, got it. Okay, okay. And will it be like
Mhm.
generally Oracle charges based on the licensing, right? Or else is it based on like certain roles? If I mix it up,
Mhm.
uh, my licensing cost will be changed, right? Do we
No,
have
no,
a way
no.
to track those things?
No. It will not depend on the licensing cost actually. That completely depends upon the security console thing actually, administrator thing. Nothing to do with licensing actually. There.
No,
Reason being,
like if I mix a procurement with a finance, like a responsibility, then I will be charged for both finance and the procurement licensing, right?
yeah, actually here role of the responsibility thing is completely demoralized here. Oracle only follows roles and privileges actually. There. I get your point. In EBS, we had system administrator responsibility, different responsibility which were there. If you're combining them, but here it will not charge you. Reason being, because this is managed by your security console team, right? I get your point. From EBS background, you're understanding it is another system administrator responsibility, multiple responsibility which we had. Correct. Depends upon the licensing. Okay, this will be 10 number of finance people, and this will be the role. Correct.
Yeah.
But here, what Oracle has avoided that thing actually. That's why I was saying security console is the team. Here, they have a right to maintain the information. If a person wants this, because Oracle by default has provided all the roles and privileges by default already. Now it
Yeah.
is on the control team to decide what they need to do. So that is avoided. Yeah, I get your point, but earlier it was there. The licensing cost would have increased, but here it will not there.
But even though it will be still maintained by the same company, right? Like currently,
Correct.
like the sysadmin team, they will be maintaining the roles, right? When the
Correct.
sysadmin team maintains the roles, they need to understand, do we have the enough licenses to assign this role to the user or not?
Correct. That I agree. That I agree. But that privileges are already been there by the company before starting. Because even if you go for implementation, they will have that bandwidth to accommodate this thing, right? Because that is why the cloud is there, right? Here the database will not be an issue for the person. You're getting my point, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I get your point from licensing standpoint, but it completely depends upon the organization actually and the type of business they are implementing. Actually,
Okay.
if you around ask me for having 30,000, 40,000 who will be having financial and you are mixing up their roles, then I have to consult with the client actually in that case. But having a group of people 50, 60, because here also what happens is if you see manager or the CEO or the director will be very few people, right? There will not be multiple people there. Just giving a lifetime example actually. But administrator can be n number of people, employees can be n number of employees. Mixing their roles will be fine, no worries actually. But obviously concern and how the denigration or this is already done as before the project actually discussion starts, that this will be the people, this will be account, this will be there. This is what we call it as FS actually, the function specification which we develop beforehand.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, to answer your question, licensing depends actually. Frankly speaking, depends upon the organization how they are taking it forward.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll tell you an example also which we faced. So there was one of the government agency which we are working with actually. So talking about government agency, there was one of the US government agency we were working and implementing their project with. So they guys were completely into this security thing that our data should not leak. We are not. They were much not into how purchase order have been bought, entire thing. They were very much concerned about our data is safe or not. So even I'll tell you an example. They were in a hurry that do anything, but this is the only role. This is the only information which will give you. Deal with it. How you deal, it's your role. So we also got stressed up that this team is just because they are a government agency. They agencies are very much worried about their data security. Actually, in that case, what happens is they had their financial team also. They had their SCM team also, number of folks, but how they follow very much strict guidelines or documentation that this information this much will be go for approval, and it takes time actually. Even in agencies also take much of the time to get approvals up to the things. We also face an issue that if you want only 6 people or 7 people, why should we go for a licensing for that case, right? But depends upon the organization. Some of the manufacturing companies, if you see, if you're implementing a project from them, they would be into like our purchase order should not get left out, any of the purchase order. So depends upon the thing. So security licensing is completely a prior discussion which happens actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that is a very good important point. Licensing do comes into a picture, but depends upon the organization how it is there and how they, because this is a discussion more of a security team actually, like how they need to take forward, how then organization takes it forward, that do we want this much will be the count, this will be entire thing. This is then prior of this, like when the implementation start
Yep.
actually.
Yep. Okay.
Any other question, guys?
Yeah. What is that add auto provision roles?
Which one?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. What is the tab add provision roles? What
Uh,
it will be do?
this auto provision rule.
Yeah, yeah.
Because okay, sure. I'll just
Adding auto provision roles.
yeah,
What it will be?
I'll just navigate to you. Okay, let me do there. Okay, if you see here, this is the one which you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So what happens in auto provision is sometimes what happens is this is completely a role setup actually which you do. Auto provision means like whenever this particular role has been given, I want this role automatically to be auto provision to this person. I can make a role auto provision that whenever a user is created, this role should be by default assigned to that person. If you see here, giving an example, I don't want account payable manager. Whenever a user is created, this should be auto provision. It should be automatically assigned to this person because manager role is really important. Similarly, supervisor role. I don't want the supervisor role whenever a user is created that to be auto provision. Auto provision saves your time to add a role actually. Whenever a user is created, auto provision a role in that way. Similarly, buyer role is something which I don't want auto provision because this is something a very critical part. Few people or few number of counts will be only that few number of people will be only a buyer information, right? Will be a buyer. So in that case, I will not auto provision them. That this whenever user is created, it should be auto provision. So whenever you are creating a role, the screen which I was showing, do you have a checkbox that should it be a auto provision? Clicking on that checkbox whenever next time a security team creates a user, that role will be automatically available. That is the meaning of auto provision.
Okay. Okay, got
Yeah, and if you want, you can search here also what are the different auto provision roles available. Different that can also be coming up. If you can scroll down, there's some multiple user right, which are there. Actually, it's a more of a demo environment. You see multiple things being assigned to this person because more of a demo environment actually. But tactically and in a live project, we generally follow a standard things. Auto provision roles generally come into a practice if we have level, right? Category levels. And similarly, we have employee level also. This are normal field worker or we can say field supervisor. Let's have a role for them and this should be auto assigned. It's much more easier, but depends upon how security team handles these things actually. Yeah. And an important point which I wanted to bring into a practice, just remember about it, was more of a technical stuff, single sign-on actually. Oracle 2, if you would have seen VDI structure, where VDI is something which clients generally follow, where they have single sign-on there, log into that application and entire application opens with that same password. Oracle 2 coming up with single sign-on option is, and we have that enabled with there, is becomes much easier. You log into the application. If a Boomi wants to connect or some third-party system want to connect, they can directly connect with this, right? So that's the main thing. This was about like how an user account looks like, how is the different things be there. Let me create a user also. One more thing which I wanted to explain is resetting a password. So as an administrator, I have a right to manually change this person password. I can change this person password. Let me type it in this way. But it follows the same conversion of the password that it should be 8 if you see here, simple 8 characters, one number, this all things follows. So as an administrator, I have a right to change this person password. Automatically generating a password is something which automatically triggers a mail. So if you can see when I clicked on auto generate, these two fields have got blacked out actually. Manually is something, then what happens is then I create a password, I reset a password, then I have to send this person a mail, right? Automatically Casey Brown will get a mail that your password has been changed, right? But how will he get a understanding what is the password, right? So that if you see, he would have seen Gmail mail also and would have seen other mails, other side mails also. Generally, what companies have started is to build an OTP system right now. An OTP comes to your system, just provide an OTP. That is much easier to log in. Oracle 2 had a demand recently where one of the client asked the same thing. Can we have an OTP thing? Because this is something, because we do not have one administrator, right? We had hundreds of administrator who have a team. Security team can have people. It depends upon the people, right? Why only an administrator can change a password, right? Although if you would have seen the screen, let me just show you, we have a forgot password link also available. Let me show it here, forgot password. But clicking on this link will always give my password to the administrator. Unless the administrator has accepted this, that will not, I'll still not be able to log in. So depends upon that person. So they have a requirement, this they are still working on it, to have OTP system coming up, because that becomes much easier. Already we are maintaining an employee information. Right now Oracle has not come to a stage where they store mobile number. Actually, they still find that that's very much like they have not, as it is in cloud, it is not that much security there. So uh, there was a requirement, but still they are working on it. Right now they follow the mail system only, that if there's any chain, mail will be triggered from their system, no phone number, phone call. But they should come up with this idea and they are working on it. Let me log into the application once again. Okay, so the reason I am talking about this thing is more like from a security console standpoint, but we need to know that, okay, because we are starting to learn an application, we're starting to explore this. So understanding a security, like how my data is secure, how information is secure, is really, really important actually. Let me log into this application once again. Guys, even this password and this things, you can also have a look into it. I'll share this. I just ask the admin team and they can share this with you, and this will help you to start navigating to this. So what I generally follow as per our today's session, just navigate to the security console. This is a demo environment, so don't worry that if you make any changes, anything will trigger it out. But make sure you do not change the password actually, because just giving you a fallback, this is demo environment. So this is being used all over the world. And earlier there was demo.oracle.com, which was followed by Oracle, and they had multiple passwords, three or four instances available. But Oracle has retarded that, and they have started to follow demo Oracle's one site, which has only 2 instances actually. And these are the 2 instances. I have the links if you can see here. And what are the password? This password gets reset actually, this gets reset. But definitely I'll just ask the admin team, so you can even you start this password and explore this environment. Our main agenda for today was to just explore this environment, get to know the things, understand what are the tabs, where to go. I started with security console as well, because right now if you understand, okay, this is the user, we'll hit a scenario where I need to know, okay, this agent has already been set up or not, right? When we'll start the actual configuration, our main configuration will be starting from tomorrow actually, where we'll be having different administrator, like I'll say different configuration tasks. We'll start with common configuration. We'll start with how normally the business unit get configured, business things get configured. Although we have started the configuration bitwise, we can say security console is also a type of configuration only, because you're configuring the roles, you're configuring the person name, person IDs, different thing actually. But main SCM part, which you'll say that, okay, this is something which is a more of SCM thing, will start from tomorrow. But reason for having showing the security console and showing this thing, which I personally believe is having administrative knowledge is really, really important. Because before going to administrator, we need to understand, okay, this is not which is in control of me, then I should ask the administrator, right? And even this is, if I can just show you the things back, tools, security console. These are the main 2 areas of functions for us actually. We had responsibility, system administrator responsibility in EBS, functional responsibility in that way. That has been completely retarded by Oracle, and instead of following responsibility, they follow roles. If you want to deal with this environment, go with roles. Privilege is the one thing which I wanted to explain. Privilege is something depends upon the CO or the designation which is there. How privilege can be assigned to a role. That suppose I want, as one of the person was talking, how we can have our custom role. If that is custom role is a privileged role which I want to make, depends upon how security team deals with that privileged role, how and whom it to be assigned. Sometimes what happens is that I would have a group of team, right? I suppose I have a approval team actually who will be the approving the supplier purchase orders or the thing, right? I'll give them a um, I've assigned them a privilege. Okay, this will be the group, and this all members should have this particular privilege or the roles assigned to them. In that case, only that groups, all the people in that group can move forward with approvals. So just a terminology, but don't worry about it. This is something which is completely managed by security team. But have a feel of it, because the reason for having a feel of it makes the things quite easier actually. Understanding these things, understanding the different components of it. So this was about our rules and our user. I'll show you one more thing which I wanted to navigate. Retarded. This account is not great. Let me take you to that. Okay. Just give it a minute just to load the things. This, if you see, I have went to one of the area that is known as product information management, which we call it as product data hub, where we maintain the item information, right? As Oracle was developing, they have started to make the things more and more interactive, right? So this, the screen which you see, just if you can note down the word, this we call it as infolet actually. Reason of calling it as infolet, and the things what it can do is like your dashboard actually. That is your home dashboard which you see, but this is specific to product data hub dashboard. Similarly, we have procurement dashboard also. What is a dashboard? So suppose this will give you an overall picture. Right now I think we do not have anything here, but moving forward I can show you in procurement also. What we call it as a dashboard is, here I can see entire details. So given an example, suppose we have purchase requisition. Let me just try if I can log into SCM. If this user is working, then I can show you from SCM point of view. SCM IMPL. Yep, it's working. Oh, procurement right is also the same from here. Perfect. This will be more clarity in that picture. Yeah, perfect. Guys, can you see my screen? Hello, is my screen visible, guys?
Yes, yeah, we
Yes.
can see yours.
So this was what I was trying to come into picture. This is something which we call it as infolet, right? So this actually graphically pie charts and line chart are something that helps you to identify the information is much more manner, right? So with cloud, Oracle has started to give the picture and much more interactive screens to the user. So this is one of an screen. This we call it as order management dashboard. If you would have seen it, I can re-navigate to you to this. I wanted to show you from an SCM standpoint what is this infolet all about. So I went to order management, tab, click on this tab. We call it as style. Just let the page load up for a minute. So if you can see here, what are my open order? What is the total count? What is the total amount? A more interactive thing, which was not there much in EBS, but this has become much more easier for the user now. This is like infolet. This is also, I'll tell you, this is much more customized as well. This can be customized, but depends. This is also a thing which is comes under security console team. You have a right, you have a system. We have that page also with sandboxes where we can do that. You can do that. We can show you that also. That's where I can show you in the next upcoming session also. But let's have a first a feel. But I'll show you how to customize this also. Depend upon the organization, because some of the companies would not want. No, I don't want to see pie chart. Show me a line chart. That also we can do. But this is an infolet screen. What we mean by infolet is that it gives you overall picture what is going in order management. So if you see here, what are the orders past 14 days? So here, if you can see the one which are marked in yellow, so gives me an overall picture in a form of a pie chart, conductive information, which we can see here. There's an option also available. Let me show you this. So this will copy it. Yeah, correct. Perfect. So here, if you have scroll down, what are my draft orders which are in errors? So you can see order validation is required for this. There's one order which is requiring order transformation. 75, oh sorry, 56 are in the fulfillment tasks. 18 are the one which are in fulfillment process. So giving you an over picture. If you see here, these are the orders in hold. So if you can see hold for change requests, some of the orders are pending due to approval. There were changes made. It was resubmitted. Credit chart check hold is there. If the credit card details are not correct on that, it's still holding. Pricing details are not correct. Reason for showing this is as an because we are going into more into Fusion, we are understanding more of the Fusion terminology. You can even show your clients on whenever you work on the project that here is the details where you can see commutative information. It helps, and also as a person, as a user, client also gets a good information. This was not available much in our EBS environment because that was not there as a part of the screens were not that much mature. But here, if you can see, Oracle as a cloud environment has come up with a beautiful screen where what are the orders which are pending, what are the details which are there. I can see as a user, if as a supplier I log in, if I can see, okay, my this three are the negotiation which are pending on me. I have to deal with that. That becomes much easier, and notification is the way. So main ideology of having infolet is makes an interactive screens for you actually, and this is something which helps you to have quick responses also. If I see, okay, the count of my fulfillment line is getting increased, I need to respond to that actually. If I see orders which are in error are a very big amount, I need to respond to that. It depends upon you how you want to customize your dashboard. Some of the option depends upon the user. If you can see here, I want to hide this, I don't want to see it, depends on you. But overall, Sandbox is the place where we customize this. Also, to be frank on this, Oracle has not still provided complete control to the user that they can control the screen, but some of the functionalities are available. So if you see, I have still not navigated to create order page where I'll create an order. I'm still only on the dashboard. This is just an overview section which we have. I'll take a halt here if anyone has any queries, any regard for this particular infolet. But just remember the word whenever anyone asks you that what is this under order manager, what is the screen, so you can say that this is order manager in infolet, which is you see infolet is the main term actually for this. I'll take a hold here. Anyone has any queries, any doubts?
So infolet and dashboard more are the same, both are same,
Dash
or else is there any difference between them?
infolet is more of a configuration part also, like that can be why not say it as configurable part, is something which we can customize. Dashboard is something which we cannot customize much actually, because that is being seen by all the user. Infolet is something which you can customize through sandboxes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they have two types. We can call it as two types of thing. Home dashboard is something which is a home screen part, right? Which you see right now. This
Yep.
is under a section which you see, order management. Similarly, we'll see it under procurement section also.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
But reason for showing this was like whenever you have some client interaction, you can show the screen. This will give them a much more of confidence. Oh, Fusion has come up with this area. This is something which is new to see, which was not there earlier. Actually, all the information, all the details are there. What is the amount, open fulfillment. So we are still we are in a halfway path. Reason being, I wanted to stretch the thing from scratch, actually know each and every basic fundamental thing. uh, I would have bifurcated started from create order, but knowing this section also is really important, because moving forward, when you have a client interaction or you have a interaction with, so you know the things. Okay, this is the dashboard where I can explain the client that see here, because this is something which is really helpful. To be frankly, for reporting purpose, it's really helpful actually. Although we have OTBI BI reports available, but for reporting and for a user person, because amount and how the quality of this Oracle delivers is really important. And this is their one of our deliver which have they started with Infolit. With I'll tell you, when this came up around from 18A 18B, their Infolit was not into that much into practice. They had only two checkboxes, I'll say you. They had simple screen, but with the past, this is the latest version which we are seeing. So upon the latest version, they have enhanced the things a lot actually, and come up with some beautiful screens, so having more interactive things with the user. But that was my aim, to show you a dashboard how it looks like. We still uh, how creating our orders. This is the first screen which Oracle introduced. If you would have seen there in EPS, what happened is there's a hyperlink. I click on this buyer work center, three sections started. I click on this, it opens a form directly, right? Becomes a very much monotonous thing which was there. But with Fusion, what we have come up with is Fusion has started to give more interactive screens to a user, and they can navigate to it, they can work on it, they can understand the environment well, as well as a person or an implementator. Our jobs become much easier. Right? Okay, you can see here the past due. I don't have to search a query out of it. This is the one for you. Just go to the screen, show them, basically. So this was our main agenda of today's session. I'll keep a halt here. I'll take 5 minutes if you have any queries, any question. But main task of today was navigating to the cloud environment, understanding basic terminology. So where till we went is we understood today. I'll just fall back that we went to the security console team. Security console area. We understood many of the things. We understand this dashboard. Okay, what options I have. Right, as a form, I know this is a search option, this is a notification option, this is my favorite bar setting up option, this is like my normal taskbar where I can see all the things. Similarly, what I saw is how is the quick action link available, what are my tiles available under a section. So you know the navigation now. If I need to go to tools, I need to first go there, click on this tool, then only I can see its corresponding. This is a header section and corresponding line section which is there with me, right? So just an overview of how an environment looks like. You're getting a feel of it. Let's start to have a feel of it. Okay, now this is a screen which I've already seen. I know where to go, I know how to control the things, I know what is configurable, what is not. uh, Most of this is like more of understanding the application. We're still like in a midway of starting with the configuration or main part, how the configuration would move forward. But understanding a screen, understanding simple terminology, helping them, because sometimes what I believe is making a base strong is really strong. I would have started with creating an order supply, that is fine, but basic things, this is some things which we can demonstrate to the our end user also, that this is what Oracle has built, this is a new chain. And I also suggest my uh, fellow parts is that always have, there's a site which has demo.oracle.com. New releases comes, so Oracle publishes a document. Reading about that also knows, okay, this has changed, Infolit this has come up with a practice. That is really important actually. But starting from scratch, understanding links, understanding the navigation is a very important things for us, because this helps you to understand the application, but have becomes more interactive. We know in EBS we have steps to follow, this is the way. But cloud has come multiple ways, it depends upon how the path you so. The notification which I was explaining, if you have known about notification, you can easily take an action instead of going, okay, go to tools, go to supplier portal, click on that purchase, search for a supplier, then approve it. Why to take a time? I have a notification, approve it. Similarly, we know as a small thing, we know the search bar option is there, but I told you that this is still, if you can just show you, this will take I'll tell you, let me search. I give a search, it takes time actually. Cash balance, so this is not what I want, right? I'm still have to search for multiple. Internally starts a search. I wanted to go to cash management, but I'm not able to get to that because it's not able to search that for me, right? So this we know as we navigate, you as you understand the application. This is what I told. This is still into a development part. Where is the navigation? If we have the navigation, it should allow me to go to search sub cash management, right? That is an option. If I go to cash, I'll select, it shows only my cash balances, right? So different limitation which is there. So as a person, so I have to, whenever I give a demo or I understand a thing, I will not go to this area to hit, because I know that this is something which Oracle is still working on, correct? So we know the things, we know understand the tools thing, we know okay, this is the area which is there. And in our upcoming session, that is tomorrow, we'll start with the, this is a security start task which I have started, but we'll create one role. Actually we'll create a one custom role, we create a user in tomorrow's session, and then we'll start with our common configuration. So that will take around 30 minutes initially, because now the where to navigate. I'll show you creating a role, and secondly we'll show how to create a user also, because we have administrator, right? And tertiary, we'll start with the common configuration for this supply chain. And I'm a believer, like we follow live project examples. Okay, we'll take a company XYZ, suppose Indian company XYZ, and we'll see, okay, this is their requirement. I'll give you a scenario, so I'll prepare a scenario. So okay, this company has this requirement, how to deal with that, how we can do it, what are the capabilities. Because Oracle too has some limitation. Understanding this thing, that where to say no is really important. If we accept everything from a client, okay, no, this will be okay. Can you do that? No, but we need to know that is the possibility, because we are the implementation part, right? We are the people who will implement, will configure the things. So that will be our main question, and I'll mix up the things. I'll not say mix up the things. I'll say more of a things. I'll make scenarios for you guys. We'll make a scenario. Okay, this is XYZ company coming up to me. They're asking me to configure locations. How to configure location? What is the best practice? How is the way as a implementation guys we can implement it? We can configure it quickly. That is also a skill actually. So I'll show you that. So that was from my side today. I'll buy you the 20 minutes and you can have a rest and take time. But thank you guys for joining us session. But I'll take a 2-minute pause. If you have any queries, any question, any feedback, just please feel free to for that.
Yeah, I have one question. Like
Sure.
in the start of the session, we were discussing like we will for implementation we will have 3 instances, right?
Correct, correct.
So generally, how do we merge those instances when we are done with the functional thing, or else we at the end we will select one instance and do all the things again, or what is the
So what
process we generally follow?
correct, correct. I'll explain you. So generally what happens is this comes under SIT picture actually. When we go for SIT,
Yeah,
in that case, we have one instance where we follow the same step. Configuration happens first because that is
yeah,
the base, right?
yeah,
Secondly, then conversion happens. Then
mm,
happens the integration. Because until the data is available from conversion, how integration team will take the data, correct? So giving initial practices for different instances, because the first time when you start, you do not know the data of the company or the organization, how does it looks. Giving
yeah,
a conversion team at different instances, even if they face issue, it will not disturb my environment, right? Like it will not create much issues for me if the data which is loaded is incorrect, if the data which is the field which was missing, right? If there was an information which was picked correctly. Even integration team, they have developed a API. They know they have, because API has this URL start point there, right? And
yeah.
moving forward there. So they will know that this is the API, this is working for me, this will be work. So all, if the instance changes, only they have to change the this link, right?
URLs. Yeah, okay.
Correct. Same goes with conversion. They in the multiple in instance, if they load that, they didn't understand, okay, this will be the count. This company has a count of 40,000 purchase order. I need to
Yeah,
check whenever I go to gold instance or my main instance, this 40,000 should come there, right? Until apart, we all, that is a part, like we face some issue, we get some, but we can resolve it. But giving them a feel, starting directly from a main instance and single instance, multiple people are working, that becomes really tough actually. That's why we follow a culture where we have 3 instances. You do your initial brainstorming, understand the data, convert the data. You know the process. Okay, this is going. Conversion team know the process. As a configuration, we know. Okay, even we have a import export functionality also available in configuration. So I know this configuration is done. If there's some other instance, I don't need to copy it, paste it, copy, paste. So that becomes a much easier job, and avoids redundancy and avoids confusion also, actually.
Okay. And when we are moving to the production live
Mhm.
instance, do we
Mm.
have a way to move all the setups to the instance
Yes,
or else?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So we have
Okay.
that import export functionality where when you export it, a zip file gets created from Oracle, right?
Okay.
So we have a task also here. I'll show you that task also moving forward, where we can extract the data, extract the configuration things and import it. So, but there's a thing that we have to do line by line. Location data cannot be merged with some other configuration. Location file has to be separate, has to be merged. Even what Oracle does, it suppose there's a refresh, which you're getting my point, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So what happens is Oracle do refreshes the instance. So suppose it comes with a new instance, we can ask Oracle to make it an instance, a copy of this instance. So suppose I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
These are two instances, right? I'll just suppose this is the different instance which I see.
Yeah.
EQs JZ, and this is
Yeah.
different. This is a new instance, which this is the instance which is getting refreshed. EQs JZ. Right? I
Yeah.
can ask Oracle to make it a copy of ETIT. So
Yeah.
entire my configuration which was there in ETIT will get copied to EQJZ. I can ask Oracle for that to make a copy of this instance, because this is their administrator team job, Oracle team, right? So we can ask that also. But generally what happens is in a live project, we always ask for a fresh instance. Reason being, if there's suppose some mistake which is already done here, right? We have a right
Yeah.
to correct it in other instance. But that is also
Yeah.
possible that we can ask a copy for it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And generally, do we have any editor to view the data of the cloud database?
You have a right, that is reports and analytics, where you can query the data from the backend, but there's no procedure packages here in Fusion. Only select query works. I can show you that.
Oh, okay.
This is our like this will come in upcoming sessions for us, reports and analytics. Else I can show you that.
Okay. Apart from the reports analytics part, like do we have like a toad or something like where I
No, no,
can
no, 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 no.
connect to the cloud database and then access the data kind of thing?
So that in that case, you require a PaaS application or third party where you need to integrate through OIC cloud.
Oh, okay.
Because if you see here, other steps I'll explain you in moving session also, how to create a report, how to deal with it. You can see here the SQL query which I have. I'll just give a name.
Yeah.
Let's select the basic table. This is the one of the Fusion tables name.
Yeah. Okay.
Only select available. So if you can see, I have selected it and I click on view. It has provided me the data. So only you can see the data.
Oh, okay.
You don't have a right to update it. That has to be done through screen only, UI screen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
But there are different functionality here. You can see export functionality. You can export the data, but there's nothing like create procedure, create packages in Fusion. That has been
Oh,
all been retarded actually.
got it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it from my end, guys. Anyone has any other queries?
Hey Varun, Shantanu this side.
Yeah, Shantanu. Go, please go ahead.
So actually, what is Sandbox instance? Like, is it
Mhm.
different from these three instances?
No, that's not. We call it as Sandbox instance. We call it as Sandbox. Actually, it's just like a page composer, if you see. So you would have seen uh, when I develop a page in some other application, right? We have a
Hmm.
page composer is a thing which I can compose the thing, right? Similarly, right now, if you see, this is not a page. I cannot make here a dialog box, right? I can make a text box here, but you can go to sandboxes that I'll show you in moving session. You can click on, there's a link available, there's a role also for that. As a sandbox, the screen changes here and the screen becomes in a page composer mode. You can add a text box if you suppose. It depends actually. You cannot add any text box at all the screen. It depends upon the screen which is configurable actually. Right? Giving an example, I'll tell you. This will make the things much. I'll just come back out of this area. Come on, yaar. Okay, let me re-log in. Okay. So, let me tell you one of the things. Let's go to create order. Okay, so I'm creating a sales order, right? You can see my screen. Okay. Hello, can you, Chandra, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, suppose there's a client which comes to me. No, I see the screen, but I want the when you are creating an order, there's one more field which I want to add, which is like source type, that from which is the I want to know where this is particular order is getting created. Although suppose his requirement is in that way. You're getting my point, right? He want to add one more field. Now, as a person, I know as an implementer that this page, there are only the page which are under Oracle rights are configurable, right? So this page is configurable. You can by seeing what comes under configurable list, reports and analytics does not comes under. All the pages which you see in tools does not comes under configurable sandboxes. Only the ones which you see in different tabs and management system comes under configuration, because security console will not allow. As a sandbox, I can control that, but this is a page which comes under the configuration part. So as a user, if I'm getting a requirement that create one more field here, what I need to do is enable the sandbox. So sandbox, what does it does is change the view of this application and gives me a pencil option available. Actually, this is like a part of our future session which will come and allows me to create a field actually here. Once that is created, there's an option to publish a sandbox. Publishing a sandbox mean that will be making the screen visible to all the user. So that is the way we call it as personalization here in Fusion, or adding a field. So that is not a different instance, but a prior role, or we can say a privilege which is assigned actually.
Okay, got it.
So like a page composer, you get a pencil of icon will be available here. I'll tell you that. If I can just check if this particular rules is there, or I'll add it after some time. Currently it's not there. I'll add it in the next session. I can add you for that. So that will be like configuring the part. We call it more of a more correct term for that, personalization of the fields, which we do.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question, guys? Okay, then
So
I think.
Varun,
Yeah. Sure.
I think I missed yesterday's session. So do we have any recordings for that? I can just go through that.
Yeah, sure. We have recordings for that. I'll just ask the admin team, then they can share the link with you. Actually,
Okay.
we
And
have that.
in course of content, I just wanted to make sure one thing, that like, do we have